I'm John Walsh, and I'm here with my friend Scott Davis, and you're watching The Missing.
Welcome to The Missing, your host is Scott Davis. This is for the kids, I know they just want to live, so you can have a piece of my heart I'm willing to give, but you love all races, no matter what the case is. Welcome to The Missing, your host is Scott Davis.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Missing. I'm your host Scott Davis, and I want to say thank you so much for joining us. In last episode, we covered their first international case. That was the case of Andrew and Christopher Watkins, allegedly abducted out of Canada by their non-custodial mother and taken to Poland. Shortly after that episode aired, their father Stephen contacted me via email, and he and I have been working on gaining exposure for Andrew and Christopher through our show in hopes of bringing them home safely. While working with Stephen, I was introduced to Ken Thompson, a man with a similar story such as Stephen's, where his young boy was allegedly abducted by his non-custodial mother and taken out of Australia to an unknown location in Europe. We're going to cover Ken's story and see if you can help us find Andrew and bring him home safely. Also in this episode, we're going to visit the Dr. Stacey Safety Segment. We have the holiday season approaching us, and the first holiday is Halloween. We're going to share with you some safety tips on how your child can be safe while they're out trick-or-treating or enjoying the Halloween season. Also in this episode, we're going to be covering some cases of endangered runaways. We have very limited information in our cases, and we have covered endangered runaways on our show before. So we're going to show you the photographs of these endangered runaway children, and hopefully you can recognize them and be able to contact the local authorities and help bring these children home safely. So let's don't waste any more time. Let's get right in this episode of The Missing. The case of Andrew Thompson, a 4-year-old missing out of Australia who was allegedly abducted by his non-custodial mother, Melinda Thompson, and taken to unknown parts of Europe. It is reported he was last seen in April 2008, where he and the alleged abductor, his mother, boarded a plane in Sydney, Australia, aboard Singapore Airlines. There they took that flight to Frankfurt, Germany, and they've not been heard from or seen since. If you know their whereabouts, or if you know Melinda and Andrew, please do not approach them with this information. Please contact your local law enforcement, Interpol, or the Australian Federal Police. I will have that number for you at the end of this story. Please keep in mind that Melinda and Andrew were both Australian citizens at the time of the alleged abduction, and she speaks fluent German, French, and English. If you will, please take an opportunity and look at these photographs of Andrew. You'll see a vibrant 4-year-old who desperately loved his father, and a father who returned that love. His father, Ken, is in search of his son and wants to bring him home safely. Please visit our website at www.themissing.tv for further information on this case, more photographs of Andrew, and the alleged abductor, Melinda Thompson. If you have any information in this case or you know their whereabouts, please contact the Australian Federal Police at 61-2-6126-7777. We are aware that we are a worldwide show here on The Missing, and we do have visits from Europe on our website and on our videos. If you have any information or if you're in this region of the world, please do your best to make an opportunity to contact your local law enforcement, the Australian Federal Police, and do the right thing to help bring this child home safely to his father. The Missing is brought to you in part by Quiznos of Crossville and Hughes Real Estate Services. Welcome back to The Missing. As I said in the opening segment, we're going to be visiting the Dr. Stacey Safety Segment here in The Missing. Dr. Stacey Carlton of Crossville, Tennessee has been an avid supporter of our program, and she has helped us provide safety segments to you to help protect your children and you prepare yourself to protect them as well. As we mentioned, we're the holiday season, and the first holiday that kids love to participate in is Halloween. Now, some parents dread it, but the opportunity to keep your children safe is always present. So if you will, let's visit some safety tips on how to stay safe during Halloween. As I mentioned, some of these safety tips are some that we used when we were children. Some are common sense, and some are brand new. So let's visit the Dr. Stacey Safety Segment and cover safety tips for this Halloween. Tips for the kids. Buy or make a costume that is bright and reflective. Always walk. Never run across the street. Remember, a mask can limit your eyesight. Consider using non-toxic makeup. Always use a flashlight because they can be seen and they will help you see others. Only trick or treat at well-known homes that have a porch light on. Remove your mask before crossing a street. Do not eat treats until they are checked by an adult at home. Never enter a stranger's home or car for a treat. Remain on well-lit streets and always use a sidewalk when available. Only cross a street in a group. Tips for parents. Accompany your child on their outing. If you cannot, make sure you know who is with your child. Serve a good meal before trick-or-treating to discourage from filling up on treats. Agree on a time when your child must return home. Research the internet for sex offenders in your area. Make sure your child knows their phone number in case of an emergency. When possible, have your child carry a cell phone for communication while out. Place emergency contact information in a pocket or inside a costume. And discuss the dangers with your child before going out. Also, for an entertaining and safe alternative, look for your local churches who are hosting fall festivals. And the most important tip of all is to stay safe. Hopefully you found these tips in the Dr. Stacey Safety Segment to be useful for you and your children during this Halloween season. As I mentioned, some of them are what we used to use when we were children, some of them are common sense, and some of them are brand new. So hopefully you found some tips that will help you prepare your children to be safe during this Halloween. I'd like to bring to your attention some endangered runaways. We have covered endangered runaway cases here on The Missing before. In some of the cases we have very limited information because when these children want to leave, they do so abruptly, they really don't have a plan, and they just leave their homes hoping to make it out in the real world. Now, as adults, we understand how difficult it is to be out in the real world, and these children really need our help. The first case I'd like to bring to your attention is that of Candice Whitmer. She's an endangered runaway, last reported seen on September the 25th of 2009. Her ears are pierced, and she has a scar on her upper lip. She is 16 years old, and she is missing out of Norfolk, Virginia. If you have any information on this case, please contact nationally at 800-843-5678, or you can contact the Norfolk, Virginia Police Department at 757-441-5610. The next case I'd like to bring to your attention is that of Shirley Davis, a 15-year-old African-American female missing out of Shreveport, Louisiana. She was last seen in that area on September 15th of 2009. If you have any information in Shirley's case, please contact 800-843-5678, or you can contact the Shreveport Police Department in Louisiana at 318-675-2182. Well, everyone, that brings a close to another episode of The Missing. I really appreciate you taking your time and sitting with us and watching this episode. Hopefully you can recognize these children and help us bring them home safely. Also, I hope the tips that we shared with you on Halloween safety will help you and help your children be safer this Halloween season. As always, keep your children educated, keep them protected, and continue to watch The Missing. I'm your host, Scott Davis. God bless.